Alright, hey guys, so we're gonna be making some chicken and rice today, and I know a lot of you guys requested this on the wife's channel, so I'm doing it here. So yeah, let's get started. So first off, you can see here we've got a boneless, skinless chicken thigh, and I highly recommend you use thighs. Don't use breast. They have a tendency to dry out. They're not going to be that good. For these, just go to Costco. They sell a pretty big batch of boneless, skinless chicken thighs, so that's where I got these. It saves you a lot of work too, but if you don't have a Costco or in the Caribbean, Price Mart, South America, then you're gonna have to buy thick chicken thighs and actually bone this out yourself. It's not that hard. The bone's gonna be right here. You're just gonna cut around it with the knife and pull it out. So one thing you can notice about this, see, this is a little bit thicker. So what I like to do is I like to just go in here like this and just flatten it out. Normally, this is cooked on a flat griddle or like a flat grill. But tomorrow we're going to actually be cooking this on the Weber kettle. So this is going to get some nice smoke from the charcoal. So that's what we're going to be doing. So I'm going to want the pieces to be like this. We're cooking a lot, so we're going to have a lot to do. So let me get started on that. Alright, so we are back. So we finally finished all the chicken. As you can see, this is a really big basin, and it's filled with chicken. So now it's time to season everything up. And before I continue, I just want to say quickly, just showing you all this, that you might be wondering why did I butterfly everything instead of, say, taking a meat hammer and pounding it out. Honestly, I like this method better because it gives you the longer pieces, so it's kind of like more surface area in my opinion. Also, I have a tendency when I use those meat hammers or even like a heavy bottom pot that the meat will tear, and I don't want that. So that's the reason why I butterfly them instead. Okay, so now we're gonna go into what we're gonna be using for the marinade. So the first thing you're gonna need to put in a couple tablespoons of oil. Here I'm using avocado oil. Obviously, the chicken and rice guys on the street, they're not using this. They're probably using whatever is the cheapest. Most likely soybean oil, vegetable oil, something like that. So, but we don't want to eat that stuff. So we're going to be using some good old avocado oil. So just a couple tablespoons, enough that it coats all the chicken that you have. Okay. We're going to use oregano. And because I'm using this amount of chicken, I'm going to be using quite a bit. Probably a tablespoon and a half of oregano. And since we live in Texas now, we have a Mexican oregano, so that's what we're going to be using. Okay, I have some chili powder here, so I'm going to be using a tablespoon and a half of that. And it's chili powder, so use how much you want, how much you can handle. Me personally, the hot sauce that we'll be making later, which they also use in the carts, is going to have a lot more kick than this. We also got this we found in a Mexican market here. So this is freshly ground. It's one of their chilies, and this is just amazing. So we're gonna put some of that in there. Obviously, you don't have to do that. Just use whatever chili powder you have, but you're definitely gonna want to have something in there that's gonna give it a little bit of color. But of course, we're also gonna address that in a sec. Here we got some freshly ground black pepper, and again, you're gonna want a tablespoon and a half at least. I like my black pepper on the heavy side, but you want less, put less. And the thing is too, is that because I'm using such a large amount of chicken, you're gonna have to, I'm gonna say this is about 4 to 5 pounds of chicken. So obviously if you're just working, you know, making food for just you and one other person, let's just say, or just you, then you'll have to adjust the recipe accordingly. So what I would suggest is for a person doing a single portion of this, say you just want to throw it on the stovetop, instead of a tablespoon and a half of each of these, I would just do like, you know, half a teaspoon. You know, but you measure. I'm just going to tell you what ingredients it has. You use how much of it you want. Put a little cayenne pepper in here. This one's going to be a little bit less, so I'm going to say that this is probably about a teaspoon, 2 teaspoons. All right. Onion powder. So this is going to be another tablespoon and a half in here. So let's just get it in there. And honestly, you know, this meat needs to be seasoned the night before you cook it. So it has to go in the fridge overnight. So that's why I don't have, you know, the little things out with all the spices and whatnot. Sorry, folks. It's late at night. Don't want to have to do that many dishes. So garlic powder. Tablespoon and a half. Okay, cumin. Now, one thing I noticed, there's so many different carts and so many different recipes. There isn't one recipe but I'm giving you like the basic stuff here, okay? Now, cumin powder, aka jeera powder, this stuff, not every single one of them use it. Some of them do. So, what I'm doing is probably about 3 teaspoons of cumin powder. What you definitely are gonna need though is this. Coriander powder. This stuff right here is the main ingredient. This is what gives the chicken its main flavor. If you don't have this, then you don't have chicken and rice. So you're definitely going to want a tablespoon and a half of this stuff. Now I know it looks like a mess now, but trust me. Finally, the last thing. Red food coloring. You don't have to add it. If you're against food coloring, don't do it. I know for like, you know, East Indian people, if they're making tandoori chicken or chicken tikka masala, some of them do add this, or they use their chili powders to give it the red, but that doesn't really make it red. Personally, it doesn't matter. You do it either way. Let me just tell you, because of the coriander and the jeera, if I season this and I cook it like this, when the meat's done, the meat will have a more brownish color. Whereas if I add the red food coloring, it's going to be more red and give the food a really nice pop. So I highly suggest using the food coloring. So just put, you know, just a couple dashes depending on how much you have. Not that much. A little bit of this stuff goes a long way, trust me. And I'm wearing gloves. If you don't want to use gloves, you can use a spoon. So I got a spoon here, but you know, if my hands get messy, it's okay because I got gloves on. Oh man, but I'm telling you, you know, doing this with a spoon, it sucks. I'm just gonna be honest, it really does. So I'm just gonna get in there with my hands. I'm sorry, I gotta do it this way. And you know, you got all the seasoning at the side of the bowl. Just get it all. Alright, now to me this looks a little dry. Just add a little bit more oil because this is going to be going into the refrigerator in Ziploc bags overnight so that all these flavors could really just come together. So you know. So I hope you're really getting to see, like, I mean, you're seeing like honestly it looks more red to me in person than it does on the camera. So, but you'll see it tomorrow when we have some good light to show you. All right, so there we go. So that's the chicken. That should be pretty easy for everybody to do. So I'm gonna put these in some Ziplocs, put them in the fridge, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Okay, we are back next day, and as you can see, This is marinated overnight. One thing I do want to mention is that I did forget to mention that we did add salt to this, in case you're wondering. So I did add a tablespoon and a half of salt to all this meat. You know, salt is your preference. You add or subtract how much you want. Alright, so next we're gonna let this come up to room temp before we throw this on the grill. In the meantime, let's make some sauces. First, I'm gonna get the blender. So we're gonna make the hot sauce first, and that is gonna have a couple cloves of garlic. I mean, I'm making a lot here, so it's about 10 cloves. Got some habaneros and a couple red chilies at the bottom. One thing I do want to mention with this is usually the sauce, when you get it at the cart, it's usually an orange reddish or reddish color. So you want to make sure that you don't use any green chilies for this, or it might alter the color a little bit. Alright, to this I'm going to add about a teaspoon of chili powder, about a teaspoon of salt. You know, we don't want to forget the salt again today. Some onion powder, another teaspoon of that. We want to add a little bit of lemon juice here. Let's say about a tablespoon and a half of lemon juice. Where we're going to get most of our liquid from is right here, tomatoes. So I'm using 3 whole tomatoes. I mean, the blender is pretty strong, so so there you go. So I'm gonna put this in, blend it up, and then hopefully we're good to go. Alright, so I finished blending this up. As you can see, it's a little more orangish color, but it's because I use orange habaneros. But man, you smell this stuff? Ooh, ooh, that packs a punch. Alright, so we're gonna put that to the side for now. We're gonna get a nice basin here, and we're gonna start to make the white sauce. The white sauce is the one. That is the one that everybody wants to know. What is the secret? Okay. So if you go online and you look, they'd have you believe that they're using Greek yogurt only, and I'm here to tell you that that is just absolutely not the case with these guys in the carts. Greek yogurt's too expensive. If they are using it, they're using very little bit. So we are going to use it here. I'm using the Kirkland brand from Costco because Costco is just my favorite store. So this is what we're going to do. So you're going to say, okay, so if they're not using yogurt, what are they using? This is exactly what they're using. And this is, of course, Hellmann's. This is actually, you know, good quality mayo. They're probably using even cheaper stuff than this, but they're mostly using mayo and a little bit of yogurt. If they're not using yogurt, they're using just you know, tangy liquids like vinegar and lemon juice to give it that sour taste. But what we're gonna do here is we're gonna do a 2-to-1 ratio. So 2 being the mayo, 1 being the yogurt. So we're going to use, we're making a lot of white sauce today, so we're going to be using 2 cups of mayo to 1 cup of yogurt. And you know, when you make the white sauce, the good thing is this doesn't have to be cooked. So you'll get to actually taste it and see, like, okay, is the white sauce a little too sour? Then you add some sugar to it, because this recipe does have sugar, and trust me, every single cart's white sauce has sugar in it. Alright, now we're just gonna add just a little bit of spices to it. Just a little onion powder, a little salt. About a teaspoon of each. A little black pepper. Don't worry, you don't see it, because when this mixes up, you won't see the black pepper. I'm using some dill here. In most Mediterranean cuisine, they do use dill and cucumber. but that's for like a real tzatziki sauce. This is not that. Okay, add a little vinegar, right? I'd say for this amount about a tablespoon, and the same amount of lemon juice, about a tablespoon. And the last ingredient you're gonna add is a little bit of water. And so for this, start with a tablespoon and a half of water. Start mixing. See what I told you? The everything just disintegrates into the sauce. So, and of course, you know, it's a little lumpy. You're gonna keep mixing it, or you could use a whisk. Currently, I don't know where the whisk is, so just gonna do it like this. Okay, so I did find the whisk. As you can see, this is very, very smooth now, and perfect. So when you make these sauces, you're gonna want to put them in a squeeze bottle. I mean, if you don't have a squeeze bottle, just, you know, use it from here, but I like to put it in a squeeze bottle because then you can just put it in the fridge and use it, you know, whenever you want. Plus, the longer it sits, the better it's gonna taste. So yeah, you want it to be smooth like this, and smooth enough where you can squeeze it out of a bottle. So that's it. So you taste it, it's a little bit sour, you say okay, add some sugar to it. Once you add the sugar, you mix it in there, right? So this way I'm not going to tell you to add a certain amount of sugar, because everybody's tolerance or everybody's taste for white sauce is going to be different. So you add a little bit of sugar, you mix it up, and then you taste it. Still a little bit sour. So I'm going to go in there with a little bit more. And you know, you adjust it to what you think white sauce should taste like. Now, of course, if you've never had it before, then I suggest just taste it, and whatever you like, keep it like that. But I mean, for those of us who have either lived in New York, live in New York, or have been there and had chicken and rice, you guys should have a pretty good idea. Right, so that's the white sauce. Very easy to make, very simple. Okay, next thing up now is we're gonna throw the chicken on the grill. All right, we are outside now, and we got the grill ready, nice and hot. So here we go. We're gonna start putting the chicken on the grill, and if you notice, I am not putting them on top, directly on top the coals, and this is because I don't want the chicken to get burnt. But as you can see, the chicken have the beautiful red color, just absolutely gorgeous. So we're gonna do it like this. See, all the heat's on that side. And if you think, you know, the chicken is a little bit too close, it's no problem. You just move them back a little bit. And let's go. So we're gonna get these pieces on the grill as best as I can, and then we'll come back. All right, now while we got some chicken on the grill, it's time to get the rice going. So I'm going to be using a rice cooker. You could use the pot on the stove if you want, but rice cooker is just so much easier. There's like literally nothing to do. So, you know, you're going to make however many cups of rice. You know, I'm using the cup that the rice cooker came with. And we're making quite a bit of food, so I'm going to be using 5 of these. Now, at this point, it's optional if you want to wash the rice or not. It all depends. You know, if you don't want that extra starch in it, get rid of it. It's not a big deal. the only three ingredients we need for the rice: salt, right? Sea salt, turmeric, and a little bit of cumin powder. Now, of course, the turmeric is going to give it the little bit of color that you see, you know, when you go get chicken and rice at 53rd and 6th, which is, you know, the famous Halal guys. Personally, I don't really like their chicken and rice that much, but, you know, a lot of people do. So, you know, I'd say for this amount, you know, 2 teaspoons of turmeric, a teaspoon of cumin powder, and then however much salt you want to put in there. Oh, and actually, last but not least, is once you add your water, you are definitely going to want to add a little bit of oil. And the reason why you don't see this in a lot of videos is because people just don't know. And the thing is that with the oil, it separates the grains, and this is why when you buy it in the cart, the grains are very loose. Whereas if you were to cook this by yourself, the grains would probably be pretty tight or very sticky. You don't want that for this dish, so you got to add a little bit of oil. So we've got the water in there. I'm just going to put a little bit of oil in there. It's not a lot, maybe a tablespoon and a half or a tablespoon. Mix it all together. You just get it in your rice cooker. Turn it on. Let it white rice, and that's it. Alright, so it's been about 10 minutes, and now it is time to start flipping these over. If you noticed, a lot of these have already gone down in size quite a bit. So we're gonna just flip these over and let them cook for another 10 minutes on this side. And I think that after 20 minutes of cooking, then we'll take the temperature, and we're looking, because these are boneless and skinless chicken thighs, we're looking for about 165. If you go a lot higher than that, you know, you're probably going to dry out the meat, which you don't want to do. So, I mean, right now the meat looks great, so let these go for another 10 minutes and we'll check it again. Alright, so as you can see, chicken now is fully cooked. Ooh, and it's sizzling away, so you know this is gonna be real good. So we're gonna take these off, and we're gonna continue putting the chicken until everything's cooked. Alright, we are back with the final part of this chicken and rice collaboration, and that is the salad. I'm using romaine here. I mean, you know, use whatever lettuce you have. If you have the iceberg, that's fine. And honestly, you know, you just gonna cut this how you want. Normally when you get chicken and rice at most stalls, you're just getting lettuce and tomato, but I don't want tomato in mine, so I'm not going to be doing that. And you know, you're just gonna cut this into pieces. See, at this point now, when the leaves are big, I'm gonna want to cut those in half, and then there you go. So this is gonna be lettuce that you can pick up with your fork, and this is gonna taste great with that white sauce. So once I get all the chicken off the grill, I'm gonna put this together on a plate, and then you guys will get to see it. Alright guys, I am back and we are done. This is what it looks like. I'm back outside on the balcony showing you guys this. So we got the rice. This is how the yellow rice is. See, check that out, fluffy. We got the chicken here, beautiful color. We got that, and of course we've got some pita. This is actually fresh pita that the wife just made. So now it's time for the part you guys are all waiting for. Oh yeah, just get it on everything. And we got the hot sauce that we made. Woo. So You don't want to get too crazy on this. And there we go. When I first started to eat this in New York, man, they said you gotta get a bite of everything in one. So of course, you know, I've got to try this right now. Oh man, that is so good. I feel like I'm back in New York. Alright, well, thank you everybody for watching the video. This is gonna be the first video going up, so everybody, if you like the video, hit that like. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell so that anytime I post a new video, you get to see it. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.